Picture this: a gaming industry dominated by towering giants, studios pouring unimaginable resources into creating blockbuster games. In the early 2000s, this was the unshakable reality. But while the spotlight fixated on big budget titles, something extraordinary was quietly taking root. From cluttered bedrooms and makeshift offices, a handful of independent developers armed with sheer passion were crafting games that defied convention. These weren't just games, they were art, stories, and experiences that began whispering to the hearts of players. Slowly but surely, these indie games started capturing attention. The era of small teams with big ideas was dawning, though few could predict the storm they would bring. Then came the pioneers, the rebels who broke through the noise. Think of titles like Braid and Fez. They didn't just entertain, they stunned. These games challenged an industry that relied on sprawling teams and colossal funding. Suddenly, gamers realized that innovation didn't require a blockbuster budget. Creativity was the true currency. Critics marveled at the emotional depth of Braid's time manipulating puzzles and the mesmerizing pixel art of Fez. The success of these games was more than financial. It was a bold statement. They showed the world that indie developers were not just storytellers, they were architects of new gaming experiences. And then came a seismic shift: the rise of digital distribution. Platforms like Steam and itch.io became lifelines for indie developers. No longer would small studios beg for a publisher's mercy. Now they had direct access to their audience, free to share their visions without compromise. Gamers, hungry for something fresh, flooded these platforms. The results were staggering. Titles like Undertale and Hollow Knight wouldn't just emerge, they'd dominate conversations, proving that games with soul, crafted by small teams, could change the industry. These platforms became stages for the most daring ideas, and the audience responded with resounding applause. But the story doesn't end there. As indie games soared, the industry's titans took notice. Roguelikes, Metroidvanias, and other genres that indie games redefined began creeping into A projects. Dark Souls, Celeste, and Hades weren't just isolated successes, they were echoes of an indie inspired renaissance. Big studios began adopting mechanics, narratives, and even artistic styles pioneered by indie developers. This cross pollination blurred the lines between indie and mainstream, enriching the gaming landscape. Today, when you pick up a big budget title, you might find its DNA intertwined with the innovations of indie games. Today, indie games remain the industry's boldest innovators. With cutting-edge tools more accessible than ever, small teams are crafting experiences that rival the quality and depth of larger studios. As VR, Arkansas, and other technologies evolve, indie developers are often the first to experiment and push the boundaries of what's possible. The future of indie gaming isn't just bright, it's transformative. It's a reminder that a game doesn't need a multi-million-dollar budget to leave a legacy. Sometimes all it takes is a small team, a big idea, and the courage to bring it to life. In the end, indie games have rewritten the rules of the gaming industry. They've shown that passion and creativity can thrive in even the smallest studios, proving that sometimes the most groundbreaking ideas emerge not from the biggest teams, but from the boldest hearts.